His meltdowns cause school lockdowns because of how violent he is towards himself and others. There is a literal design plan for this kid if he snaps, hence the handler. Teachers of Reddit, what is the biggest holy crap red flag of any kind you've seen from a student? I was giving a spelling test to my third graders, and one student calmly got outer glue and poured it in her ear. I teach middle school math. We have a Saturday school once a month for students with failing grades to get extra help in whatever subject. One kid did not want to be there, and he was placed in a conference room in the office so he didn't disturb the other kids. So this kid pulled out a tooth. An adult tooth. He pulled it out of his face. It was terrible. I remember a kid in 5th grade that would crap in his pants, reach down there, pull some out, roll up little dookie balls, and throw it at the other kids. All the while laughing like he was having the time of his life. That's gotta be some kind of red flag. There was a kid in my brother's 5th grade class who tattooed himself with pen ink. It worked and he was forced to wear sleeves when he played on the middle school basketball team so they didn't show. He's in prison. Edit. I should clarify that doing a few dots or a little smiley face isn't a big deal, people do that all the time and turn out alright. This kid did his entire arm down to the elbow. My friend runs a swim club for kids. She once got a complaint from some mothers that one 8-year-old boy was performing fellatio on some 6-year-old boys in the changing room. The kid wasn't allowed to come back, and it turns out that his grandfather molested him. That's where he learned the whole thing. This was a long time ago. I'm not a teacher, but was doing a co-op placement as an educational assistant when studying sociology. We're talking like 15 years ago, give or take. Had a student in the class, with behavioral problems mind you, walk up to another teacher who was pregnant and proceed to tell her he was going to cut the fetus out of her. Nobody really knew how to react, and the tone in his voice, look in his eyes was up there with the most evil crap I've seen up till that point in my life. My friend teaches and told me this. He had a student who constantly picked at his scabs. He would rip them off and eat them, then lick the blood off his fingers. Then pull alcohol swabs out of his backpack and clean the wound while smiling creepily. He made everyone feel super uncomfortable and grossed out, but no matter what, he wasn't removed from the class. Finally one day my friend comes back from the teacher's lounge to find him using a letter opener under his skin and moving it back and forth, blood everywhere. When asked what he was doing he said his skin itches and it's best to get it at the source. The kid was finally removed from the school. My friend never found out where or what happened to him though. Mom taught for 30+ years, about 10 of them were in a self-contained classroom. So, if kids didn't succeed in this self-contained unit, they were expelled entirely, so worst of the worst. She loved the kids and over that time had only 2 that truly frightened her. The common thread was they had no effect whatsoever. They were never happy, never sad, never jealous, never vengeful. It was just nothing. At least the kids who were angry, frustrated, apathetic, silly, etc. were feeling something. Of those 2 kids, one is now in jail for a long time. She doesn't know what became of the other one. I was in charge of an after-school program for junior high and high school students, 13 to 18 years old. One time I was waiting for a 13-year-old girl to get picked up with her friend, and this is the conversation I heard from across the room while they were messing with the whiteboard. Girl 1? Draws swastika. Girl 2? You can't do that, that's bad. Girl 1? Why? Girl 2? I don't know, I just know bad. Girl 1? It's okay, my dad has it tattooed on his chest. Me? Giving a questionable glance. Edit 1. I was working in a semi-rural part of the US, and dad was a white guy who lived in a trailer park. I'm not one for stereotypes, but I'm pretty sure the guy wasn't Hindu or Buddhist. But I appreciate this sub's ability to always look for a silver lining. Source: wife is a teacher. 8th grader would smear their own crap on the restroom walls. Threatened to rape my wife in the comments section on her classroom YouTube channel. Rookie mistake using your real name as your username. When called out for it, parents lawyered up and said no one could ever prove his account wasn't hacked, so we had no way of knowing it was him. Later my wife found a note near her classroom door in his handwriting, saying he was going to shoot up the school and that he already knew where everyone was going to hide. School went on lockdown and he was later found hiding in the woods behind the soccer fields. When questioned about it, he said he ran because he was scared. I could go on. Kid will likely shoot up his high school. The worst? I had a student with claw marks over her eyes. Like legit looked like someone scratched her eyelid. The whole upper area right under her eyebrow was scarred, and it was like too small to have been an animal. Me and a coworker asked about it. She started to get defensive, and once a kid starts stuttering and making excuses, you gotta make the call to CPS. I got fired for making the call. I apparently hurt the school's standing in the neighborhood because I snitched, and the kid got removed from her family and sent to another state. Another kid had trouble staying up in class. Turned out his house was at the center of a coke bust later that year. Fun times. This year I had a female student, middle school, who had cut her arm so many times you couldn't really see the skin, just a bunch of bloody, scabby cuts. She hid it well at school as it was winter, and the students were all wearing sweaters. We only found out because one of her friends started crying and told me I needed to talk to her immediately. Taught second grade for a while. Had a female student who always wanted to peek down people's pants to see what color underwear they were wearing. Had a few serious talks with her and her mom, and she eventually stopped doing it. Turns out that she was being sexually abused at home, and her father and uncle used to do that to her all the time. Another teacher of hers in 4th grade picked up on it and reported it. To this day, I hate myself for not picking up on that and dismissing it as a weird kid. Edit 11 months later. After this post brought back some memories, I did some digging through ex-colleagues and the school to try and find out what happened to this student. The father was eventually charged and is currently in prison. Her uncle, the father's brother, was absconding, and I don't think they've caught him yet. The mother moved back to her hometown with the girl and a younger sibling, and they have been there for around 2 years now, and she is currently enrolled in 8th grade in a local school. A fellow teacher of mine tried to get the girl to go to counseling, but they discontinued it. Again, I don't have enough details about why and how she is doing now. I sub-bed for this 6th grade teacher a lot. She had this student who seemed like a harmless, but obviously mentally and physically disabled kid. Whenever I saw him, he was calm, drooled, and carried an iPad so he could semi-communicate. He didn't seem 100% there at any given time, but like I said, he seemed harmless. Halfway through the school year, the teacher I subbed for decided that I should probably know to steer clear of this kid if he gets any sort of mood other than calm. Like if he is upset that it's cloudy, I can't talk to him. He also had an adult that followed him everywhere. I assumed this guy was a para, people that help Irish punts kids, but no, he was a legit handler for this kid. Took me a while to dig this kid's backstory up, but apparently this kid has to be drugged to high heaven to just be at school, hence the drooling and super passive behavior 99% of the time. Apparently he is ultra crazy aggressive, and if he gets into any bad mood, it means his drugs are wearing off and he's a ticking time bomb. His meltdowns cause school lockdowns because of how violent he is towards himself and others. There is a literal design plan for this kid if he snaps, hence the handler. I feel bad for the kid because of his drugged out life and the fact that he probably has some incurable rage issue or brain problem. But sweet Jesus, the kid terrifies me now that I know. Edit. Just want to say this is in a rich suburban school district where they have a tendency to rug sweep really bad Irish punts kids until high school. There aren't any good private alternative schools nearby for Irish punts kids. Pretty much all the other schools are private Catholic schools with zero special education department. Once the kids get to high school, the school generally recommends either online school or the nearby alternative high school that specializes in special education. Edit 2. With some confusion and finger pointing below, Irish punts stands for Individual Education Plan. It's used for kids with special needs such as specific learning disorder, all the way to autism and physical disabilities. 504s generally cover things like depression that don't generally affect classroom and learning, but might be good to know if a kid comes to class in a mood. Irish punts kids are normal kids that need more specialized help to learn. Some Irish punts kids never have been to the SPED department of their school. Some Irish punts kids only live in the sped department. Some kids are a mix of the two. Irish punts kids are not monsters, or are they bad? They are just kids. I don't hate them and I don't fear most of them. Just this kid I'm scared of, but I'm still his teacher when I sub, so I get over it.
Like and subscribe for more funny, interesting, and scary r/ask Reddit videos.